I need some intro music though. Should I do the Rocky music since we're getting scrappy today, knocking out your scraps? I need some Rocky music. Dun, 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 dun. Is that Rocky music, everybody? I think it is. My son is saying yes, it is. Also, one of the joys of having your son work with you is that you get to embarrass him on a regular basis, and there's nothing you can do about it because I am not only his mother, but his boss.
It's a hostile work environment.
So he says that's a hostile work environment. Is it 10 o'clock yet, Max? 11 o'clock.
It's 11. It was 10.
Here's the thing about getting scrappy. Your underarms flap around a lot. Right, ladies? Again, my son is turning red behind the camera. That is a problem we have as we get older. So those young, you young ladies that are out there, prepare yourselves. What time is it?
It's 11.
It's 11! Woo! All right, it's kind of a goofy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday Live. Our goal today during Tuesday Live, this is going to be a short and sweet Tuesday Live. Now I have to say it again because Max forgot to hit record, so here we go. Welcome to Tuesday Live. This is going to be a short and sweet Tuesday Live because we're just talking about scraps, and my message for you about scraps is going to be short and sweet. So, we make a lot of great products for organizing scraps, among them the ScrapMaster. I'm going to talk about that later, but let's talk first about some tips and tricks for scraps. The first thing about scraps, the first piece of advice I want to give to you is choose a minimum scrap size. The minimum scrap size that you are willing to work with or that you think you can work with when you're crafting. So card makers are probably going to choose a little bit smaller size. Scrapbookers, a little bit bigger size. My advice to you is a minimum scrap size of 4x6 if you're a card maker, 6x6 if you're a scrapbooker. And I know some of you get this like stomach ache over that, right? Because you think I have all these small scraps, I can use them for all these things, on and on and on. But what I want you to think about is I want you to ask yourself this question, and if you've been with me for a while, you've already asked, how much paper do you have? Do you have enough paper that if you got to craft a little bit every day for the rest of your life and you never got to buy another sheet of paper, you would still have plenty of paper to do that every day, a little bit for the rest of your life? I know most of you, if I could see you out there in video land, you would have your hands up because we are paper junkies. So in the process of saving and organizing and storing and sorting and digging and searching for all of those scraps, you're not using all that beautiful paper that you've got, right? So you want to use what you have, love it or lose it, but pick a minimum scrap size. And when you finish a project, anything that doesn't meet your minimum scrap size is going to go in your purge box or your donate box or your recycle box, right? Don't hang on to tons of little bitty scraps that you have to constantly dig and search through when you have this beautiful collection of paper that you can work with. The other thing to keep in mind about paper, and I know I've said this before, is that the colors, textures, styles, designs that we're using today are related to the fashions of today, right? 10 years from now, you're not going to like that paper anymore. It's going to look outdated. That's even if it's not all faded and you know, yucky around the edges or whatever, right? So pick that minimum scrap size, write it down, post it in your craft room so you remember at the end of my project, I'm only going to keep things that meet my minimum scrap size. That's tip number one. Tip number two is keep your scraps with your paper, right? You don't want to look in a separate place for scraps, or if you go to events, you don't want to go and drag your scraps separately. You want to keep them as close to your paper as you can and as easy to access as you can. How are you going to do that? There's 2, 3 ways, 4 ways. There's a bunch of ways. It depends how you sort your paper. If you keep your paper in paper storage boxes, then you can use a ScrapMaster. Or you can use a file folder. So something as simple as this is just your basic file folder, right? Organizing your scraps, again, by size, right? There's that minimum scrap size. I just put the smallest scraps in the front, and my goal with the scraps in a file folder like this is keeping them or stacking them in there so I can see a little bit of each scrap, right? That's my goal. So when I need a brown scrap, I'm going to go to my box that has brown paper, and I'm going to have this little file folder. I'm probably, because you know me, going to put a sticky note hanging off the side. I wonder if I have one down here. No. That says scraps. And then I'm going to be able to pull out my scrap folder and look at what's in there, right? And it doesn't matter that the scrap folder is not 12 inches. It doesn't matter if your paper sticks off of the edge of the scrap folder, right? This folder is pretty, well, about a half an inch. It doesn't matter if there's 12 inches of paper sticking out, because it's still going to fit in your box, and you're still going to be able to pull out the whole scrap file. So cheap, fast, and easy. The very least, take your scraps, and if you use a paper storage box, and put them in a file folder, label it as scraps, largest to smallest. Super simple, right? What else can you do with your scraps? You can put them right into your scrap rack. So my advice to you, again, is to choose 1 or 2 scrap rack pages. So this is the Fabulous 4. It's 6x6, 4 6x6 pockets, and the vertical double, and these are 6x12. Choose 1 or 2, possibly 3 different sizes of scrap rack pages, and put them in each section. So this would be in my rainbow section, right? And in the blue section. And I've got blue and green, which I always put together. That's because I'm a Seahawks fan. Blue and green together, 2 pages. And now I've got my scraps organized, and they are right in the section where I'm going to see them and I'm going to use them, right? So if you're using a scrap rack, put your scraps right into scrap rack pages, into your scrap rack. And again, you're going to follow that same 4-section system. If you have Christmas scraps, they're going in Christmas, or sports scraps, they're going in sports, or rainbow scraps, they're going in rainbow, right? So the big takeaway here is keep your scraps with your paper. Now, some of you have already read my blog post from today, and it's about the ScrapMaster, because the ScrapMaster is on sale this week. So I'm going to go through the ScrapMaster kind of in detail and show you all the tips and tricks with that. But I resisted creating the ScrapMaster. Literally for years, people asked me for something like this, because I kept saying to them, put your scraps in your scrap rack. And finally, someone said to me, I don't keep paper in my scrap rack. I have 4 scrap racks, and they're loaded with everything but paper. I keep paper in paper storage boxes, and I need a better way, better than the file folder, to keep my scraps in my paper storage boxes. And that was when the light bulb turned on for me. So sometimes a little bit slow on the uptake, but it occasionally gets to me. So if you have a great idea that you haven't shared with me, or that you have shared and I didn't make it, you can always represent the idea with some supporting needs and desires, and that kind of helps me get motivated. But I love getting ideas from customers, right? That's where most of our products come from. Okay, so the ScrapMaster was born, and the ScrapMaster was born so that it would work in your paper storage box, in your paper handler, in your 12x12 fab file. So no matter which system you're using, other than the scrap rack, and in the scrap rack you're going to use scrap rack pages, you're going to be able to fit the ScrapMaster into that paper storage box. The other thing about the ScrapMaster is that it's relatively hardy and sturdy, so you can just use it on a shelf between your paper storage boxes, the same way we kind of stack our what are they called? Paper pads right in there with our other stuff, right? So here we go. ScrapMaster was not designed to hold 12x12 paper, was designed to hold scraps that could be 12 inches in one dimension. So it's got a big pocket on the front with just a cutout on the front. It's got a slash pocket on the inside, big pocket on the back, and then the inside 3 pockets are gusseted. And I've got a few of them really loaded up with stuff. I'm going to show you how far they gusset out. But you'll also notice on the inside, I don't know if you can see this with the camera, there are 2 different little notch tabs or notch slots right there. And those are, if you have less stuff, you're going to use the lower notch tab and slot. And if you have more stuff, you're going to use the higher one. So that's when the pocket gussets out. The other thing I want you to notice about this is that at the top of each one of the pockets, there's a score line. So when you start to gusset out the sides of that, you want to take that score line and just fold it, right? And that is going to give you that top of the pocket and also make it easier to use. Oh, I didn't punch out my little plastic thing. Let's see. And also make it easier to slide your notch into that top slot. So gusset it out, fold on the score line if you're going to gusset out those pockets. Let's look at a few of these all loaded up so you can see how they work. First of all, they can be stored this way. There's a tab here, or this way. So depending on what type of boxes you're using, paper storage box, right? I'm stuck on the hole here, right? You'll only be able to get 2 or 3 this way, but if you turn them this way, you're going to see all 5 of the tabs. So the ScrapMasters, I guess I should say that, come in sets of 5. So ScrapMasters can go up or sideways. If you're using the paper handler, up. Sometimes you put your paper handler on the side. That's going to work as well. And last but not least, certainly not least, is the fab file, the 12 by 12 fab file, and your ScrapMasters are also going to fit in the 12 by 12 fab file. Okay? Okay, so ScrapMaster, perfect, of course, for colors. And again, smaller scraps in the front, larger scraps in the back. What you want to see is what all of your options are, right? This is also a great way to store vinyl that's been cut, right? Vinyl rolls back up. So once you've cut pieces of vinyl, you can store your vinyl scraps right in there as well. Now, if you're using our album storage box, the album storage fab file to store vinyl, you can add 1 or 2 of your ScrapMasters right into that box. You have your scraps stored right with your rolled vinyl. So perfect for color, obviously. Now, there is enough space in the middle that if you want to store your cardstock in the middle and use this as a color file, you can definitely do that as well. You've got about a 1/2 inch of space in the middle if your gusseted pockets are not gusseted out too much, right? So keep that in mind. So it's obviously great for scraps that go with particular colors, but you can do the same thing with themes. So this is obviously Halloween. I've got all my Halloween scraps. I've got a couple of different Halloween paper collections, but everything is visible and accessible, right? Super simple. Big scraps on the back. Again, you can store it either way. So like so many of the things that we make, once they get introduced, we start using them, or you start using them for other things. And then you say, hey, Tiffany, did you know? And you send me your ideas. And I'm going to share a few of those with you right now. This is a ScrapMaster, and it has got everything for a theme. This theme is travel. So I've got big stickers, and I've got smaller stickers, and I've got embellishments. Everything that I need for this theme is right there. And if I had travel paper, which I do, you know that already, right? I can put it right in the middle, and now I've got this file of travel supplies, okay? So it's a great way to put everything together by theme. One other interesting thing, which I just discovered, is that in this top pocket, and this one was really gusseted out, our 5x7 file pockets fit in that top pocket. So if you're trying to organize something, maybe you're working on a project and you want to use it as pictures, right? So if, let's say this was a Disneyland trip, I might have the characters getting there, the rides, the hotel, going home, and I could stack the pictures, the 4x6 pictures, right in the 5x7 file pockets. But our 5x7 file pockets, and there's 5 of them in this little stack, they just slid right into this top pocket, and I actually have another example of that as well. But ScrapMaster, did I mention the ScrapMaster's on sale this week? I think I did. It's buy one, get a second one set for half off, and there are 5 per set. Look at this. If you're a planner junkie, and you know I am, look at this portable planner supply storage. So I put I used our 8.5 by 11 vertical pockets on this side. You could probably also use the horizontal, 8.5 by 11 horizontal. I'll try them in there. And then I've got stickers and adhesive. And in here, I've used my 5. I don't know if you can zoom in on that, Max. Again, I used my 5 by 7 file pockets because these are all my sticky notes by theme, right? So they're all in there, nice and neat, super visual, easy to get to. I can take out whatever, subject I want to work with as I'm working on my planner stickers, pens, to-do lists. Everything's just all worked in there. And I'm going to close this up and you can see how far the gusset is out on the side, right? So I've even got a roll of adhesive in there. So especially if maybe you're going on a trip and you want to be able to take your planner supplies in your suitcase, or you want to throw them in your lowest tote, this is going to fit also right into your lowest tote. So a great way to take your planner supplies somewhere, or even to store them, right? If you're not a scrapbooker, if you're not working, or a card maker, if you're not working with 12 by 12 paper and 12 by 12 supplies, you may not have 12 by 12 shelves. I think most of us, probably all of us who are watching today, do work in the world of 12 by 12. So this is going to fit with everything else that you have that's 12 by 12 if you're looking for a great way to organize your planner supplies. Also a great way to organize photos, mementos, all those kinds of goodies for a scrapbook project, right? So these are all the little mementos and things that I collected on our trip at Christmas time. And I even have some paper that was appropriate for our trip to India. So I put that in there so I wouldn't forget it. So right in the middle, I've got that 12 by 12 paper, but you put, big maps, big mementos, photos, all of those things. So the ScrapMaster is also going to work really well for creating, for using as a scrapbooking project planner. Again, and then if you can put a couple of, what do we call those? We call them supersized single scrap rack pages in there as well. And then if you take this with you to an event, when you finish your pages, you could put them in those scrap rack pages and keep them nice and neat until you get them home. So ScrapMaster, again, great use for that. And then keeping whole collections together. So if you work with one of the stamping companies or Creative Memories, this is a Creative Memories collection, and you need to keep all of your paper and scraps together by collection, this is a great way to do that as well. That way you know which things go together, especially if you're teaching or you're trying to complete a project. So this Creative Memories, this is a gift from Terry Wiegand. She sent this to me. It has a recipe, a couple of sheets of recipes for how to use everything in this collection. So I put that recipe card in the front, and then I've got all the bits and pieces that go with the collection right here. So everything I need, I'm going to keep things together. I use together. If I'm working on Thanksgiving, I can pull this right out of my fall paper storage box and have that whole collection together, but I'm still able to store it right in the fall section of my box. Last but not least, kind of a crazy idea. This is all the pieces for a baby quilt, right? I've got the instructions for how to make the quilt and then all the cut apart pieces on the inside. So if you are somebody who travels with quilting projects, or you like to pre-cut everything and get ready for a quilting project, maybe you want to work with just a few squares at a time, you might consider trying one of the ScrapMasters for keeping those fabric pieces labeled, organized right there with your quilting instructions. All right, so if you have questions about organizing your scraps, now is the time to ask them. If you want a close-up or you want to see another one of these ScrapMasters that's loaded close-up, now is the time to ask for that too, and we'll get Max to do a little bit of a zoom in. Again, they're just a simple way to organize. Do you have a question, Max? No. Just a simple way to organize scraps by theme, by color, by holiday, so that you have everything together, and then you can store that right in your paper storage box, regardless of the type of paper storage box you're using.
Someone asked about Susan asked, what are the storage boxes in the upper left?
Oh, Susan is asking about the storage boxes in the upper left of the frame, which are these handy dandy. They're not really boxes, they're drawers. This little set is called the So Organized Bits and Bobs drawer set, and this is just loaded up with sewing things. This set is part of our Totally Organized collection, which will be airing on HSN in September. So we don't actually have them yet. They're not available. I'm not sure that they will even be available on our website, but they will be available through HSN right around the first week of September. So we'll be sure and get some photos up online. And we may have a few sets to sell on our website, but I think HSN pretty much bought the whole kit and caboodle of all of those that we imported. So, but they are part of our So Totally Organized collection, along with the fabric files and the fabric wraps. And we've got a couple of buddy bag options that are all going to be part of that So Totally Organized also. So there's the Dawn buddy bag with the buttons in there, and the Katja buddy bag, which is designed to hold rickrack, bias tape, that type of thing, in that collection. So they come with special pockets when you buy them as the So Totally Organized collection. These are available on the website now with the pockets. And then we have, of course, the Merle bag, which you all, I think, got introduced to last week. So what we haven't done is give anything away or encouraged you, reminded you, told you to enter to win. So Karen should be posting up a link to the Tuesday live enter to win deal. And when we post this video, there'll also be a link. So if you're watching via Facebook or YouTube or live stream, you can check back in just a few minutes. If there's no link now, we'll make sure and get that link up for you. Also, while I'm saying all of those things, I got an interesting message from someone on YouTube who said, I don't do a lot of social media, so I'm thankful that you're posting all of these things on YouTube where I can go and watch for myself. And I just subscribed to your channel, so I'm going to get the updates. So if you do like to get the updates and you do want to know what's going on, but you're not on Facebook and Instagram all the time, be sure and sign up. Go to our YouTube channel. I think it's just Scrap Rack Lady, but there's links all over our website. If you just click on the YouTube icon in the upper right corner, it'll take you there. And subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then anytime we either go live on YouTube or we post a new video, you are going to get a reminder that we did that. We just I just posted up the Cozy Crop House video. So if you haven't seen that or you didn't get the email on that, you can check that out on YouTube as well. Speaking of that, if you're not on our email list, you know, our email subscribers are the people who know new things first. And also that's who we send coupons and discounts and sale information to. So if you're not on our email list, now's a good time to hit the subscribe button the next time you're on our website and sign up for the email list, and we'll make sure that you know what's going on when. All right. Thanks for tuning in this morning. No.
How many ScrapMasters will fit in a paper handler, and how many will fit in like something like a 12 by 12 fab file?
Okay. How many ScrapMasters are going to fit in a paper handler? How many are going to fit in a fab file? How many are going to fit blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I shouldn't say blah, blah, blah. That wasn't very nice, was it? How many are going to fit in a 12 by 12 thing? I probably should have talked about that when I had these out earlier. All right, let's check it out. So it kind of depends how fully loaded they are, right? So if you have 100 sheets of paper, which is what will fit in the middle of your ScrapMaster, that is going to take up more space than people who don't have 100 sheets of paper in a ScrapMaster. If you have your pockets really gusseted out nice and thick, you're going to be able to get less things. So I would say if you just have an average amount of scraps, you are going to be able to get 5 ScrapMasters in the cardboard paper storage box, right? That is our widest box. The paper handler, you are probably going to get 3. Again, totally depends on how thick, how many scraps, how much paper you have in the middle. I got 4 in there. I could probably get a 5th. This one's really kind of fat though, and it has things sticking off the end. So let's try the Thanksgiving collection. So a snug 5 also in the paper handler. I'm running out of space. And the fab file. Now, the fab file is going to hold the least, but it might be a great choice for project planning or going to an event where you're trying to really condense things down into a small, very portable situation. So I've got 3 in there, and it's pretty snug with 3, and they're kind of medium filled. So I would say 3 to 5 in that order, right? 3 in the fab file, 3 to 5 in the paper handler, 5 in the paper storage box. Again, just depending on how fully loaded they are. And then again, on the shelf, they can go this way or this way. So depending on how you use your paper handlers, your paper storage boxes, how you put them on the shelf, you can tilt those ScrapMasters to do that as well. Should probably not be doing that backwards. There we go. Any other questions, Max?
Do you organize your scraps in the same way that you organize your paper, or do you have less categories?
So the question is, just in case you can't hear, Max, do you organize your scraps in the same way, using the same categories as you organize your paper, or do you have less categories? And I would say you have exactly the same number of categories and exactly the same categories, right? So you want to have, obviously rainbow is a no-brainer, but even if you have sports, Easter, Christmas, I don't know, Mother's Day, Father's Day, travel, all of those things, when you work on a project, you're going to have scraps left over from all of those things. So keep your scraps right in with the rest of your paper. Now, you may only have a few scraps, right? You might, let's say, I don't know, St. Patrick's Day. You may not need a full ScrapMaster to hold St. Patrick's Day scraps. That might be a good time to either put them in your scrap rack, right, which is probably where your St. Patrick's Day stuff is, unless you're huge at celebrating St. Patrick's Day. If you live in New York, it's probably a bigger category than right here in the great state of Washington. But small sections in your paper storage boxes might be better served by a file folder, but something that you're going to have a lot of might be great in a ScrapMaster. And again, you might want to combine, right? So I keep green and blue together, even in my scrap rack. You may have green and blue, red and pink, orange and yellow in a ScrapMaster. So you may combine that, and it will just be right in your paper storage box between the two or behind the two, whatever you're mixing and matching. And you could do the same thing with holidays, right? Christmas, you probably have a lot of Christmas scraps relative to the number of scraps you have for Easter, St. Patrick's Day, and Valentine's Day. So you may have spring scraps, but it's going to be right in there with the rest of your supplies. So you'll have, I guess that is a little bit of a different answer, right? You might have Valentine's Day, Easter, St. Patrick's Day as categories as in your calendar year, and you may condense all of those into just one ScrapMaster, but they're still going to be tucked in right there with your spring events as well. Anything else, Burrito? Nope. So be sure you click on the Enter to Win. We're going to give away 3 sets of ScrapMasters. We'll drop them in the mail to you on Friday because you have until midnight on Thursday to answer that, to enter, and then we'll choose winners on Friday and get them right out to you. Although I say we'll get them right out to you, but I think the Enter to Win form only asks for your name and your email address. So we'll notify winners on Friday. We'll tell all of you who the winners are next Tuesday. Will I be here next Tuesday? No. I'll be at HSN. I forgot to do announcements. Woo! Next Tuesday, HSN 24-hour craft day. We will be showing the embossing station. If you haven't seen that yet, that'll be on HSN next Tuesday, as well as the paper cart, which we are out of on our website, but it is available at hsn.com, or it will be available at hsn.com So if you've been waiting to get one of those. Also, I got a question last week about pricing on hsn.com. Someone asked me, is the special price only good while you're on air, or is it good all day? And usually the special price starts like at 9 o'clock Pacific time, which is 12 o'clock Eastern, if not sooner. And it runs all day, as well as the $5 shipping special. Well, yeah, at midnight Eastern, so 9 o'clock Pacific. So you don't have to wait for me to be on air, especially if it's something, I know the last time I was on, we sold out a product in 4 minutes. So if you waited until I was on air to get it, you may have missed it. If there's something that you want that we're airing, jump on, put it in your basket, purchase it before I'm even on air, and then you don't have to worry about not getting it. You can watch the on-air demonstration when that happens and learn the tips and tricks, and then know that you actually have it. Also, I believe you can make multiple purchases throughout the day, and HSN combines all those. This is what I believe, but I'm selling as I bought here. I haven't actually done the research, but I believe if you make multiple purchases through the day and they have the $5 shipping special, all of those purchases are going to combine for just one $5 fee for shipping. So you may want to verify that with HSN. Maybe I will also, and try and get a post up about it. But that is how it was explained to me last time I was at HSN. So don't worry about missing out on the shipping specials. And but definitely feel free to order early and then watch the demonstration if you want to get the tips and tricks. All right. I think that's it for today. So again, ScrapMaster is on special this week through Sunday at midnight. You get 5 ScrapMasters for $34.99. If you do the double special, you're going to get this 2 sets of ScrapMasters. Buy one, the second one's half off. All the information about that is on the website. Thanks so much for tuning in. Happy Tuesday. I do need to give a shout out to Tim, Tucci, and crew who are watching instead of working today. I love that. Anyway, hope everybody's having a great Tuesday, and I will talk to you all live from HSN next Tuesday. Have a great week.